Good morning and welcome to this session on coding in the primary classroom. It is great to be a part of YRDSB's EdTech Camp on Air, and I hope that you enjoy this session. My name is Laura Harrison, and I am currently teaching kindergarten at Aldergrove Public School. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions or comments. You can tweet me at Ms. Harrison10, and let's get a discussion going. And don't forget to use the event hashtags at the bottom. So I think we should start by asking, why should we integrate coding into our programs? I don't think there is only one right answer to this question, but I would like to suggest that it is because we want to promote computational thinking and have our students be computational thinkers. So what is computational thinking? It is the use of technology to help solve problems. Coding can help develop computational thinkers because it allows for multiple entry points for students to access the language of computers. Here is a popular sketch note by Sylvia Duckworth based on a talk by Brian Aspinall. It lists 10 reasons to teach coding. Let's read through them. 1. Coding allows students to create content, not just consume it. 2. Coding empowers students and gives them tools to express themselves in really cool ways. 3. Coding teaches storytelling with games and animation. 4. Coding is a place for students to take risks and fail safely. 5. Coding is inclusive and builds self-confidence. 6. Coding supports many principles of mathematics. 7. Coding teaches problem solving and critical analytical thinking skills. 8. Coding is a new type of literacy and will be a large part of future jobs. 9. Coding develops teamwork and collaborative skills. And 10. Coding can help humanity. Bonus, coding gives you superpowers. For the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to talk about coding in 3 distinct categories: coding unplugged, coding on apps, and coding robots. Let's start with coding unplugged. Why should we facilitate unplugged coding experiences for our students? Unplugged coding allows students to learn the language of code before introducing technology. It is also a great option if you don't have tech available. Let's take a look at some unplugged coding resources. Here I have 2 websites, 1 book, and a game for us to look at. Let's start with csunplugged.org. CS Unplugged is a collection of free teaching materials that teaches computer science through engaging games and puzzles that use cards, string, crayon, and lots of running around. This updated website has unit plans, lesson plans, teaching videos, curriculum integration activities, and programming exercises to plug in the computer science concepts they have just learned unplugged. So here, if we go to the topic page, you will find the topics as well as ages that they can correspond with, how many lessons are in each topic, curriculum expectations that they connect with, and challenges. So it's a really great way to get some lessons if that's what you're looking to do. The next website that I have here is code.org. The first thing that you're going to want to do here is make a free account, and I'm already logged into my free account. Then you can take a look at the course catalog. For the purpose of this presentation, we would stay in the elementary school division and even more specific, the primary division. I like to use the computer science fundamental lessons. It gives you a brief description of what this entails. And when you go to learn more, you will see the courses A to F and what grade they're recommended for. You can then view the course as well as the lesson plans. It's really convenient. Another great resource are the Hello Ruby books. Hello Ruby is the world's most whimsical way to learn about technology, computing, and coding. We are all about curiosity, playfulness, and logic. We provide tools for kids, parents, and educators to learn to understand programming in a fun and creative way. The book made its debut on Kickstarter in 2014 and quickly smashed its $10,000 funding goal after just 3.5 hours of gathering $380,000 in total funding. Hello Ruby was at the time the most funded book on Kickstarter's children's book category. Hello Ruby's founder, Linda, is a programmer, storyteller, and illustrator from Finland. Linda is a central figure in the world of programming and has worked on EduTech already before it was called that. So she believes that code is the 21st century literacy and the need for people to speak the ABC of programming is imminent. Our world is increasingly run by software and we need more diversity in people who are building it. Again, I just want to show you a quick picture of the book's cover. It's a really great story and read aloud. And in the back of the book, there's really great activities that correspond to the storyline. So it's really fantastic. The last resource on this page that I want to highlight is actually a game. It's called Little Coder. Little Coder is a card game that introduces young kids to the basics of coding. It was also crowdfunded on Kickstarter and has shipped around the world. Here's how it works. First, let your kids lay out a series of cards to represent a path for you to follow. Next, watch as they revel in the joy of seeing you execute their every command. Once your kids have mastered the basic cards, introduce even more fun with mission and lab cards that let you explore coding concepts even further. Let's take a look at a gameplay example. The last unplugged coding resource I will highlight is the Taking Shape, Activities to Develop Geometric and Spatial Thinking Resources for grade K-2. Part 2, Section D, entitled Locating, Orienting, Mapping, and Coding in the Taking Shape Math resource is a great place to start for those that are looking for entry points to unplugged coding in relation to math learning, especially geometric and spatial thinking. Let's look at some examples of unplugged coding in the classroom. The first sample activity is called Building Algorithms on a Grid. This specific example pictured is actually a lesson taken from code.org called Happy Maps. I did this lesson on the carpet as a whole group experience, as well as in small groups on tabletops. The object of the game is to move a fictional character called the Flurb to collect pieces of fruit, using arrow cards and statements such as move the Flurb up. The set of instructions is called an algorithm. Why not use the same concept of building algorithms on a grid, but incorporate picture books that we are reading in class or students are already familiar with? The task could sound something like this. Code a path for the insert character's name here in the insert book name here to travel. Strong texts to try this with are ones that have a clear journey or path, such as these. Can you think of any others? What have you used? Why not tweet them out? In this example, we see the three little pigs. The task would sound something like this. Code a path for the wolf in the three little pigs to travel. On the table, you should provide a copy of the text for students to refer to, character and event cards or stones, direction cards, most likely arrows, and a grid. For this activity, we looked to the language curriculum to make connections. Students are retelling the story, albeit not in the most conventional way. They will show that they understand the sequence of events in the story, information about the characters, and the setting. The next example of an unplugged coding activity is called When the Letter A is Not the Letter A, and involves the use of the binary alphabet. Computers don't use the letters of the alphabet. When we see the letters, the computer sees a combination of ones and zeros to represent each letter. In this activity, students use two colors of Lego, one color to represent ones and the other to represent zeros. Students then build words out of Lego using what they know about the binary alphabet. The challenge? Can others find out what you wrote? For this activity, we looked to the math curriculum to make connections. We could use the binary alphabet to make and extend patterns. Now let's look at coding using apps. Here are some great apps for students to use when learning about code. I'm going to speak about 3 of them. First, let's look at Lightbot. The app entitled Lightbot Code Hour is a free app, while other Lightbot apps have a fee associated with them. This app is compatible for Apple or Android devices. When you first begin with the app Lightbot, we'll explain the basics. The object of the game is to light all the blue tiles. Use the walk and light command in order to do this. The students will be introduced to new commands as the game progresses, such as the turn command and the jump command. Let's watch Lightbot in action. Next, let's look at an app called Daisy the Dinosaur. Daisy the Dinosaur can be downloaded in the App Store, and when you enter into the app, you will be given a choice to code in 2 different modes, the free play mode or the challenge mode. Let's take a look at the free play mode first. You can choose from the commands on the left-hand side of the screen. Students have a choice to shake or touch the screen in order to make Daisy move. Next, they can choose to move forward or backwards. Other commands also include turn, grow, shrink, jump, roll, spin. Let's watch free play mode in action.
Maybe a visit.
Let's look at some lesson ideas for Daisy the dinosaur. One idea is to make connections to daily physical activity or the dance curriculum. You could choreograph Daisy to mimic a dance that you have learned in class, and then review the movement terms. Or you could do it the opposite way. You could watch and participate in different DPA videos and review movement terms on Daisy the dinosaur. Now, let's take a look at the challenge mode. This is the first challenge when you go into challenge mode on Daisy the dinosaur. It says, hello and welcome. Try figuring out how to move Daisy so that she stops in the center of the star. Notice the commands are now limited to only the ones you will need to complete this challenge. Challenges help the students to become familiar with each command and how to use them. The last app that I will highlight is Scratch Junior. Download Scratch Junior from the App Store or Play Store. Scratch Junior is a block coding program. The commands look like puzzle pieces that connect to each other. This is where you can select a category for programming blocks. The yellow are triggering blocks. The blue are motion blocks. The purple are looks blocks. Green are sound blocks. Orange are control blocks. And red are end blocks. This button allows you to add text to your screen. Select one of your characters here. Right now, we are only showing Scratch the cat. Or tap the plus button to select a new one. Once a character is selected, you can rename it or tap the paintbrush to edit its image. To delete a character, press and hold it. Select or create a background image here. There are quite a few to choose from, or select the blank canvas here. Let's look at some lesson ideas for Scratch Junior. Using Scratch Junior, you could retell a story or write a story. You could make informational videos. In math, you could explore transformational geometry, measurement, or patterning. Now let's take a look at coding robots. Here are some examples of robots that are available to code, suitable for the primary division. I'm going to highlight 3. First, let's look at coding Bbots. The Bbot is equipped with 6 buttons: 4 directions, go, pause, and reset. Bbot's main function is to be coded to follow a path. It is great for teaching directionality, sequencing, estimation, and problem solving.
On your mark, get set, go. Forward, left.
Here, we will see a maze that Bbot will be coded to travel through. Oh no, what went wrong? Maybe this student's estimation was off. I'm sure they will solve the problem and debug their code. Now let's look at the Sphero. The Sphero is a little more complex to use, but has so many awesome capabilities. It can be download the Sphero EDU app in the App Store or Play Store. As you can see in the picture on the right, the Sphero produces light, and in this project was used with long exposure photography to make beautiful works of art. Sphero can also run through paint or be used in water, which opens up many possibilities in the classroom. Here's an example of using Sphero in paint. And last, let's look at Dash the Robot. When you go to find an app that is compatible with Dash the Robot, as you can see, to code Dash, you will notice that there are so many. So which one is best suited for you and your students? Let's find out. The Go app allows users to explore Dash's lights, sounds, sensors, and movements. The Wonder app uses a picture-based coding language to create detailed behaviors for Dash. In Blockly, program Dash with an introduction to block coding, puzzle-like pieces. This app explores variables, events, and conditionals. The Xylo app allows Dash to compose his own musical masterpieces. Be sure to have Dash's xylophone before you start. In Path, you draw a route for Dash to follow, helping to teach the fundamentals of coding at an early age. So what are some lesson ideas for Dash? Well, you could code Dash to draw 2D shapes using Blockly. You could code Dash to move around an object, finding its perimeter using Path or Blockly. You could code Dash to make his way through a maze using spatial thinking, using the app's Path or Blockly. You could also make a pattern with Dash's light features. Are you interested in taking part in a coding event? Let's take a look at the Hour of Code. The Hour of Code is a global movement reaching tens of millions of students in 180 plus countries. Anyone, anywhere can organize an Hour of Code event. 1 hour tutorials are available in 45 languages and no experience is needed. Personally, taking part in the Hour of Code is a great starting point. The kids really enjoy taking part and feeling like they were part of something bigger that people were engaged in all over the world. On the website, you can print out certificates for your class as well as stickers, and it's really meaningful for them. Thanks for watching my presentation. Remember, if you have any questions, please reach out to me at Ms. Harrison10 on Twitter. And I'd love some feedback. Let's start a discussion. In what ways are you coding in the primary classroom? Are you using an app or a robot that I should know about? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.